Hey guys, welcome back. I'm very excited today to be celebrating 2 years of the Confessions of a Paper Addict cut file shop with a YouTube pop, and Virginia also has a birthday release of cut files. I am going to be using these balloon animal ones today, but I did want to let you know that there are 30% off all the cut files in the shop all month long, so I will leave the link below in the description box. Head over and pick yourself up some fabulous cut files. Down below in the description box I will also leave all the links for everyone else who is in this hop as well. There are a lot of us, so head over and watch some fabulous cut file inspiration. So like I said, I am using the Balloon Animals cut file, and I've just cut these from white cardstock. But I did just want to pop over to the computer and show you the plan that I have for this page, how I knew which cut files and sizes that I wanted to cut. It's super easy, and let me show you how. Here is my little plan for my layout. So this is how I work out how big I want those cut files, how many I need to do, etc. And I'll just let you in behind the scenes here. This was not the first version. I went through a few different ideas before I finalized my layout like this. It's one of those brilliant things about this software is I'm not cutting out things, I'm just placing them around the page. I can put my photos in here and just get a really kind of vague idea of what I want it to look like before I actually go ahead and start cutting any paper. So I've already got Silhouette Studio open so that I can cut the cut file. So this is just a quick little extra step that means that I know that the cut files that I'm cutting are going to work for the layout that I want to create. So now all I have to do is go ahead and cut all these pieces. These little balloon animals are the outlines. I am going to cut them just like it looks like in white cardstock, and then I'm going to find some pattern papers to back all the balloons with. So I've got my three little photos. I printed them after I created that plan, so I knew what size that I wanted. And the collection I'm using today is Lucky Me from Rosie Studios. Now, I'm going to attempt to stick pretty close to the color scheme that I kind of created in Silhouette Studio. So I'm just going through the 12 by 12 papers, and I'm going to pick out all the kind of green and blue papers. I'm going to use these to back my little cut files, and like I said, I'm going to use the Silhouette to do this. These are all balloon animals. I want the entire balloon animal to be one pattern paper, so I do not need to back all of these cut files with a billion little pieces. This is a super easy cut file to back in that way because I can just use my Silhouette to create that one shape, and then all I have to do is glue those together. So basically all I'm going to do is I'm going to lay them out and I work out which color I want which animal to be, and then I can trim those papers down and run them through my Silhouette, and then I will have all the little backed pieces for my cut file, which I have here. So again, super easy. I did leave out two of those papers because I was not sure which paper I wanted to use as a background. My plan had that kind of light sort of tealy color, of which there is the perfect paper in that pack for that, but I also really love this blue and white stripe. So I decided rather than cut into those for the balloon animals, I would just wait and see. I only have one each of these papers, so I wanted to see how these balloon animals looked first, and so I cut all of the other pieces for the balloon animals out of the other four papers. So I have repeated a couple there, and then all I'm going to do, you can see this is the easiest backing of a cut file you'll ever do. I'm adding a tiny little bit of Scrapbook.com smart glue around my white cut file outline, and then I'm sticking it straight down on top of the background of the cut file. That's what I mean. Super easy. I most definitely 100% am not going to make you watch all of this because it really only took me a few minutes, but it is pretty dull watching, I will admit. So here we go, balloon animals backed up, and now I can decide what background I want to use. So in the end, I am going to end up going for this lighter teal. the stripe background, I love it so much, and you'll see I do end up using it a little bit later on. But when those animals and the photos are all on top of it, it gets really busy really quick, especially with the stripy background. So I did end up sticking with my original plan, which is this very light teal. It has a little bit of a white polka dot. It's almost like snow on it, and it's got enough of a pattern that it's not too overwhelming. But you can see here I'm desperate. I'm desperate to get this stripe in, and so what I decided to do is just deviate from my plan a tiny little bit, and I'm going to add that stripe down one edge of the paper. So I do stick pretty closely to the plan that I created. It just helps me a little bit, but I am going to add a few bits and pieces as I go along. So I've got my basic plan here. I've got a whole bunch of different embellishments. I've got die cuts and stickers and epoxy stickers. I've also got these puffy sticker titles, and I kind of loved that hay, and I want my title to be party animal, so I thought I could use the hay party animal, but we'll see how it goes. The point of this layout is it's my nephew Jack's 2nd birthday, and he celebrated by heading to kind of wildlife sanctuary, and so he got to play with a whole bunch of animals. They've got a kind of petting zoo part in there, and he just absolutely loved it. So the balloon animals were perfect for me. I thought they sort of celebrated both things, both the birthday kind of celebration aspect, but also the animal aspect of it. So on my layout, I was kind of feeling like it was a little bit I've kept a fairly monochromatic layout, but it was getting a little bit too kind of blue and green for me, and I wanted to add kind of a third color in there. So I am going to add a few little pops of sort of peachy orange as well, one of which is coming from an epoxy sticker, and that's where I decided to add that third color because I loved that epoxy sticker. It says "You are my fave," which is totally true, and so I really wanted to use that, and I decided that would solve 2 problems. So here we go. I'm going to add my little stripe. I just trimmed off a piece of the mint background paper. I did not trim that straight. I trimmed it at a little bit of an angle. I just kind of eyeballed it on my paper trimmer. And then I distressed the edge with my edge distresser. And then I'm going to line up these 2 12 by 12 pieces, adhere the top one down onto my striped paper, and then I can just trim off the rest of that paper with my scissors, which means I get to use all of that gorgeous stripe somewhere else, and I still have a perfectly 12 by 12 layout. Now I got this kind of little journal spot that I cut out from one of those 3x4 cards, and spoiler alert, I don't end up using it. This layout becomes sort of quite busy for me, and so by the end I'm trying to find ways to simplify it. In my layout sort of plan, I had those photos really quite straight, and I did play with sort of having them on a little bit more of an angle, a little bit more playful, but I actually like the kind of juxtaposition between having those straight photos and then these really fun balloon animals kind of floating all over the place. So before I start, spending too long making decisions like that, I'm just going to go ahead and stick all of this stuff down. Some of these things, like this photo here, I want to be overlapping my epoxy, so I am kind of sticking things down as I go, but I want these 3 photos down first so that I can go ahead and add the little balloon animals on top. And I am going to add those with a little bit of craft foam just to give it a tiny bit of dimension. It's not super thick craft foam, it's just from my local craft store, so it's nothing special at all, but it does just lift up those animals a little bit. Those balloons kind of give them the illusion that they're floating on the page. So again, it's a kind of tedious process. I'm not going to make you watch all of that, but effectively I just don't cover the entire piece, but I just put a few little bits and pieces so that all of the outside edges are going to be held up with the foam, and then I add my tape runner and stick it down onto the layout. Now the ones on the edge like these where I've only just cut the heads, I didn't need to cut the entire animal, so I just cut the heads on my silhouette, and I'm going to add just the foam onto the actual head piece, and then I'm going to add the tape runner down onto the actual paper of the cut file so that along the edges it is actually stuck directly onto the layout. It means I still get that dimension, but when I'm slipping these layouts into the page protectors, they don't tend to get as caught as often. So I've got all my little cut file animals. I've got them all adhered down with the foam, and now all I have to do is a little bit of embellishment. And it's here that I kind of feel like it's getting a little bit too busy. But my normal go-to is when it's feeling too busy but not balanced, I tend to add more, which is what I'm going to do. I want to make it look even more busy, even more filled in. I want to fill in some of these gaps. So I'm going to add some little stickers. These are just really thin kind of paper stickers. I'm using all of the little hearts, and again, I'm picking out the blues and the greens, but I'm also adding in that third color with a few sort of peachy, pinky, orangey tones as well. These ones, because they're so thin, they're super easy to slip underneath the cut files with the foam and whatnot, and it's just easy enough to fill it in. So this is where I'm deciding I'm just going to alter things just a tiny little bit. I've decided not to use the puffy sticker hay, and I'm not going to add that journaling spot in there either. I picked out a couple of different alphas. These are from Citrus Twist. So the blue ones are foam, and these little orange ones are puffy stickers. And I decided to go with them. They're going to fit into that kind of column of busyness, but not be super overwhelming. The blue ones are a really dark color, and I thought would stand out just a little bit too much. And I love the orange, again, just breaking up that kind of monochromatic theme a little bit. So I'm going to add the words party animal underneath my second photo here, and then I'm going to add another little cut file on the other side, and that's going to end up being the home for my journaling. But before I get there, I'm just going to add a few of these little puffy stickers. There were some hearts, some larger hearts and some smaller hearts. Again, I'm going to add those into the busyness, always adding more if it still looks a bit unbalanced, filling out those gaps and whatnot. It also gives kind of a different texture to it because everything else is very flat, apart from the cut files. So it gives just a little bit more dimension in there as well. And like I said, I'm going to add a little journaling spot over on the right hand side. Just realized I needed to cut off the leg of my balloon animal at the bottom. So I'm going to add my fifth little balloon head over here. I have added the same foam, and I'm going to do the same thing, which is just stick the outside piece directly down to the paper. I'm going to apply this so it's around about the same level as the title for my page. I'm going to add a couple of puffy stickers and my journaling under there, which I'm going to do off camera, so you'll see in the detail photos at the end. And then that is going to be my layout all done. So here are a few little detail shots of this finished layout. I really hope you enjoyed it. I don't make 12 by 12 layouts very often, but when you've got fun cut files like this, it is the perfect excuse to make a little birthday layout for my favorite buddy. Like I said, I will leave all the links for the other videos in this YouTube hop in the description box, along with the link to the Confessions of a Paper Addict cut file shop. Head over, pick yourself up some cut files, are 30% off all month long. If you enjoyed this video, please give it a thumbs up, and don't forget to subscribe to my channel if you haven't already. If you want to keep watching, there are a couple more videos on screen. Otherwise, I'll see you next time. Bye guys.